Okay, so here's the problem. I've got pool supplies that are taking up valuable real estate in my garage. I need them gone. And the only way that that's going to happen is if I do something about it. So I'm just going to build underneath my deck a simple, just a loop thing. Let me show you what I'm thinking. So here's the problem. One, I got a big pile of 2x4s. It's always good to have some 2x4s, but that's got to go. I've got tubes sitting here, and I've got a tube over there on the bench, and I need something kind of like that wooden piece up at the top, just to grab the tubes and hold them so that they're not laying on the floor in my garage. Now, I could put them up there, take these, lift them. I get it, it's not that hard to lift them up and put them up there, but when my kids pick up after they've been in the pool, that's when the difficulty arises. So I gotta take care of them, and it's very simple. And maybe if you have a deck or something similar to what I've got going on, that this may work for you too. I don't know, we'll see. Okay, I'm under my deck. You may be able to tell. I've been digging it out so I've got enough room that I can stand like this, and I'm not super tall, but I'm right up in it. Anyway, that doesn't matter. I want to put something in the corner here so that it'll hold the tubes. And I'm going right back in that corner there. And I think what I'm going to do is come down along the wall right there, and then come down along the wall, and then come out with that triangle support, and then have the horizontal leg and the little catch-all right there. Now we've got 1.5 inches there. I've got 2x material, so that's going to match. I'm just going to butt it up, and then the part that will screw onto that will be another just kind of overlap to connect everything together. Now these are, let me see, I'm gonna throw my tape. So these are 2x10s that have shrunk quite a bit, and now I'm down to 9 inches. They only started at like 9.25, 9.5 anyway. Oh, that wasn't even on the right spot. That's my flashing. So if you look, yeah, 9.25, there you go. Hasn't shrunk too much. But I'm gonna overlap a 2x4 flat. I'm gonna have one coming down that'll be on the same plane as this, one coming down, and then I'll overlap onto both and screw those together. That way I can hold the rings for my pool. Fern's gonna help. Get your pig, Fern. Get it, get it, get it. Yeah, you got it. You're just gonna follow me wherever I go, aren't you? That's okay. Good job. We got the pig. We're ready to cut some stuff. Big shout out to my buddy Johnny Price, who also has a YouTube channel, JP Media, for giving me this really, really nice heavy duty miter box stand. I'm not quite sure what else it's for yet, but it makes a very nice miter box stand. So thank you for that,
Okay,
Johnny.
I gotta make a cut. I'm gonna measure over 4 foot, make a mark. Maybe, I lost my Sharpie. This is, oh, I got it, found it. Make a mark at 4 foot. Now before we cut, we wanna be safe. I'm gonna put my safety glasses on, ready? Perfect. All right, line her up. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You knew I was kidding the whole time. These are a little scratched up, but I guess that means they're either in my pocket, not doing what they're supposed to be doing on my face, or they're protecting my eyeballs. Anyway, cut one at 4 foot. Beautiful. Now, the other part that I want to do, I think I'm going to cut the vertical part at 3 foot. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to say 3 foot is going to be good enough. So I got one cut at 4 foot. That's going to be the part that sticks out. I'm going to cut one at 3 foot. Now we need to make a 45-degree angle. We're just gonna chop that off. Turn the saw like so. Man, it's a nice workstation. I got. Keeping our fingers clear. I should be using my other hand. There we go. One cut. Then I would like to have the board be, I mean, our drop is 3 foot. We're gonna go, you know what? We're not supporting a lot of weight, so I am gonna just cut the opposite miter at 3 foot. Now these gotta be going opposite of each other. Easiest way to do that is probably, honestly, for me to go this way. And I'm just gonna go outside to outside 3 foot. Why not? It's as good of a number as any, if I can hook it. So we're gonna make a mark at 3 foot and cut this other side here. And if it's not perfect, it really doesn't matter. For what this is, precision is not 100% necessary. Beautiful. So, here's what we got going on. I got this little chunk that's gonna be our vertical piece. I got this massive chunk. I'm starting to think that 4 foot may have been a bit excessive. This piece is gonna attach on here like so. Oh boy, I better be careful. I know somebody is freaking out right now because they're seeing my workbench, but let me tell you something. If a tool only serves one purpose, I don't know. It's just not, it's not ideal. I want something that can do multiple functions. This thing does no good for me if it's only in the garage for when I need to rip something. Now, you do need to take care of your tools. I don't mean that you want to wreck stuff, but this is a fantastic work surface. Now, ideally I'd have a piece of foam, some rigid foam, to set over this. I'm working on that. I just got this table saw, so I haven't got to that point yet. But I do want to do that because this makes such a great work surface, just to help protect it. Sorry about the noise. Oh boy. I gotta get these out. That is something special. I think so. All right, this one's broke. Use your hands, break it off. It'll be fine. I do gotta. I'm good at English. Yeah. I do need to get rid of these screw heads though, because it will pop the pool tube things. I'm just gonna get started. I'm gonna eyeball center here. We're not talking critical construction here. I've got some 3-inch screws with the T25 bit tip. They're just exterior grade screws. Now the wood I'm using is not exterior grade wood. The good news is that this is going to be under a deck. So it really should not be seeing much in terms of moisture. Now you could do this 2 different ways. The way I'm doing it is roughly centering this 2x4, and I'm going to screw these in. Let me see if I can angle it in a way that gives me support. I'm going to screw these in like so, flush with the top. You know what? I just thought of something. I don't want to go flush to the top. I need to be down a little ways. This was a mistake. I got to go down a little ways because we have got the, I need some overlap because this needs to go underneath those deck joists, and if I put that at the very top, it's not going to reach. So it'll make sense in a few, I promise. So I'm gonna get this about to the middle of this 2x4, screw this together. Look at that, beautiful thing. Let me show you. Actually, I can just do this. 1-angle video. 2 screws, countersunk. I'm not quite centered, but I'm very close, something like that. Now you can take this and we could hold it to one side And then that way, when we put our angled piece on, we could sister them together, meaning we could overlap the sides like this, and then screw them together that way. Let me show you, if you're not picking up what I'm throwing down here. We could do something like this, where they'd screw side to side, in which case I'd want to slide this over to one end. I kind of like the look. I think it's a cleaner look. Functionally, it's going to be fine. Again, we're only holding up a small amount of weight, but I want this to be just like that. We've got a lot of overhang there. We're going to be okay. I got to get this thing screwed in. I'm just eyeballing. This isn't super critical. Now, I don't know if you can see, but I've got a knot right here. Now this screw isn't long enough anyway to put a screw right there, but pay attention to where the knots are, because that is not going to work. Like that. So I want to go somewhere about here. That way I can get good inch of penetration into there. And I'm just going to run one right here. This seems like as good a spot as any. So run one in. Get a nice heavy duty screw. Now you could use nails or whatever. Let me make sure I'm nice and tight there. I'm going to try to get it centered. Okay. There we are. Look at that. Beautiful. I know you couldn't see that with my hand in the way. Now we've got a screw going right through there. I'm gonna probably just kick one off on the side just to keep it from being able to twist. This is gonna be out in the weather, and so there's gonna be a little bit of wear, but it's not gonna get that wet. We have to do the same thing here at the top. We've got our 45-degree angle. I'm just gonna go about 1.5 inches down, make sure that these two are flush with each other. I'm just gonna get it started. Like so, and then flush it up. Once I've got it good and flush, drive that sucker right in there, so that is nice and flush. Beautiful, just below the surface. That's what we want to see. Now there's a couple different. Okay, now I got to put my 1 foot catch on here, just to keep the tubes from falling off. I'm just going to screw it on just like that. Looking at it, it might be a little tall. I think I should have tried to slide this whole thing down on that 3 foot 2x4 a little bit more, but that's okay. We're going to make it work. What does Bob Ross really say? He says something like, happy little accidents. I don't know about happy, but it's a little accident, but it's going to be okay. We're going to figure it out. I'm just doing corner. I'm just going on a diagonal here, and then we'll get this. Again, does it matter if it's perfect? I like to try to put this one here in the corner first, because then I get my edges lined up and I can pivot like so. If I put this one in and then I have to move it, it's just easier if you go right in that corner. Does it matter? No. That's loud. Beautiful. I don't want to go too deep on these screws. These are 3-inch screws, the old tornillos estructurales. That's what the box says. I'm not even making stuff up. That's Spanish for framing screws or structural screws. I know tornillos means screws in Spanish. I'm trying to learn Spanish. I think it's a language that I wish I would have paid attention to in high school. It would, oops, see, I went too deep. Now I'm poking out the other side. I think it's great to learn another language. I work with a lot of guys that speak Spanish, and some of them only speak Spanish. So I think that it would be helpful for me to learn, because I speak English. I speak un poquito español, a little Spanish. Hablo un poquito español, no mucho, not much. I know enough to sound stupid, and the reason isn't because I want to be able to tell guys what to do necessarily. I mean, if I'm in a situation where I need to tell guys what to do, that's what I want to be able to do that. That would be helpful, more than just the one guy on the crew. But it's more that if I'm working on a job site with people, and I know that they probably want to learn to speak English too, but I want to be able to communicate with them, because the best part, in my opinion, about working on a job site, and a thing that doesn't get talked about a whole lot, is that just like in any job, you're working with these people, whoever it might be, for 8 hours a day, sometimes more. And I just want to be able to ask guys, what'd you make for dinner last night? What'd you do? What'd you do this past weekend? And here's what I did this past weekend. It's fun to learn about other people, and that's one of the things I like about working. You're working side by side in construction with whoever you're working with. You know, it's not like you're at a desk and each of you have your computer and you're staring at it. I got a guy who's cutting stuff for me. I got a guy who's right next on my side in the scissor lift, and we're up in the air and we're building stuff and hold this end, I got this end. We're working in a lot closer proximity. And I'd like to be able to speak Spanish. Just to be able to communicate with everybody fluently would be helpful. I'm learning a little bit as I go, and I would like to learn more. Anyway, why I'm talking about that right here, I don't know. But here's what we got going on. We're getting there. Actually, we're basically about done. I think I should have went a little bit longer here on this end. I should have brought that up because that's going to be the bottom part. It'll all make sense. If it's not right now, it'll make sense when we get to the deck under there and start putting it together. We're almost there. It's almost done. So I don't know if you remember, but we had 9 1/4 was the height of our joist, like the rim joist or whatever it's called. Let me know. I forget the name. That's okay. Rim joist is somewhat accurate. But what we're going to attach this to, that joist was 9 1/4 to the underside of the deck board. So we've got 9 1/4 I want to be able to screw onto there to support that. And then here, I have got, I've got 6 inches. Again, I should have went a little bit bigger on that part of it, but it's okay. It's going to work. Happy little accidents, or just accidents, whatever. So we got 9 1/4 plus 6 inches. We do the math on that. We have 15 1/4. That gets us right here. I'd like to bring it. I'd like to go just a little bit more. I think, we'll have a little bit of a gap there, which might, I'm not OCD, but it might bother me a little bit. We're going to cut this board at 18 inches because I want to get down below that joist. And the top of the, boy, there's a few problems I'm thinking of as we speak, but we're gonna work them out, I promise. But we're gonna cut this at 18 inches. Let's start there. Okay, we need to cut this. I'm cutting on the ground. I missed my fancy workbench. We'll do it though. Okay, it's done. Oh, that's terrible. I don't know how people work on their knees like that all the time. Okay, now I'm going to use 4 screws, which is probably overkill. I don't know if you're starting to picture what I'm thinking here, but I'm going to run these right into here. Oh, it's a little tipsy. I'm back up on my workbench still. Maybe I'll get that one started. And we're going to get a screw. Again, I don't want to sink it too far. We got 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches, 2 pieces. I'm using a 3-inch screw. Really, the screw I should use is a 2.5, but these tornillos are what I have, so I'm going to use them. It's always good to have in your back pocket or in your garage some exterior screws. I think it's just a helpful thing to have. I'm going to put 4. Because 3 wouldn't be enough. 2 would be just silly. There we go. We're getting... You know what else I see here before I bring that back? I see this pile of pool noodles. And these are not real pool noodles because there's no hole on the inside of them. These are like the dollar store version. Oh, I see more up there. These might work. I have an idea. Can't have 10 pool noodles in the pool anyway at the same time. This might be good. Okay, I've got my noodle. This one's kind of small. This thing's like, yeah, this is dollar store stuff here. But I'm gonna take my utility knife and I'm just gonna cut all the way down this thing. I'm gonna cut right through. This is just an idea. If it doesn't work, these are dollar store pool noodles. I don't even know if they were actually $1. Probably were. I think they think if you're a pool person, you got money to spend. But, you know, I don't know. I'm a Walmart, Sam's Club pool person at the moment. Love to have something bigger, but just be thankful I got what I have, right? Okay, we're split. I think you might have an idea where I'm going with this. We'll see if it works. Okay, first thing I got to do is cut it to length. So we're just a fuzz long. We're gonna go right here. Doesn't matter if it's perfectly to dimension, you know, tight fit. No, it doesn't matter. We'll save that piece for something else. Now a 2x4, if this was a 1x6, you could build this whole thing out of like 1x4. It doesn't need to be 2x4. I'm gonna try to see if I can open this up and put this over here, just as a more of a cushioned thing for the tubes to sit on. It's kind of difficult. I'm having some trouble. It doesn't want to spread out, but we're gonna get there. I can feel it. Oh, I might have to adjust my angle here. How's that work? Man, this workbench, I'm telling you. You gotta get you one of these. If you don't have one of these rigid workbenches like I do, I recommend it. Nice and solid. It's got a saw blade that lifts up. Time out. Okay, I think it might work. Look at that. That is something right there. I'll tell you what. Very nice. Now, the only thing I might do with this, see, this is how I get involved in never-ending projects. I might end up, I think I'll put a couple screws right in the top into this noodle, because that will help hold it down, obviously. Put a screw in something that's gonna help hold it down. And I have no idea where I put the box of screws. Oh, here it is, that I had. Also not all bad to have a box of 1¼ screws at the ready. I'm just gonna do 3, maybe 1 on each end. I got the serious shaft going on here. I'm gonna just put 1. I'm just gonna barely sink it into the noodle because I don't want to blow through, because then don't do no good. Don't do no good. I gotta work on my English before I perfect my Spanish, I think. And 1 on the end. Doesn't do any good if it blows through. That'll just help. Now we got a cushion. I don't know why that matters, but we're just gonna say it does. I think we're ready to install. We're getting there. Okay, Fern, you ready to go out back? You gonna come with me? Come on. We're gonna go install whatever you wanna call this thing. The noodle storage device. Okay, I'm 95% sure that I built this part right there a little too tall, because I don't think I'm gonna be able to get the tubes up and over it and still be under the deck. Man, I got some cleaning up to do. Kind of messy. Okay, I don't know. Oh. So, I think we're about there. We're about ready. And I am sorry about the ratchet strap, but I think I'm gonna end up putting this just like that. Nope. That's what I was worried about. This thing being, this being right in the way. You can see there, boom, can't get a tube over that. But maybe I can just eliminate it altogether. I think we could. I'm gonna get 1 screw in here, and then we'll take a better look. I wanna make sure to be far enough away from, there we go. All right, I think we're real close. I have to grab a tube. I think we're just gonna eliminate this. Let's just get rid of it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Burn, burn, burn. I don't know. Okay, first thing, these are in my way. They'll be used for another project at a later date. Fern's helping. Let's see how it works. Ooh, I cut it kind of tight. I got a couple tubes here that are a little bit bigger. Might be a little tight. Can push it back. One thing to pay attention to is this area here. You can only go as tight as your 45 degree support is. So, yeah, that kind of helped. Maybe it's not bad though. If the wind blows, I'm under a covered deck, but having it just kind of push it over, that might help hold it in place. And look at that, number 4. Beautiful. Look at that. So, let me get down. Simple project. Tube storage for a pool. You can do the same concept and put it in your garage. And that, if it works under here, it'll work in your garage screwed to the wall like what I showed in the beginning of the video. So I just needed something to get it off the floor. I gotta get my 2x4s off the floor. But this is just one less thing, and this is closer to the pool. Hopefully being in closer proximity, the kids will actually put them up here instead of just leaving them laying outside to be blown to the neighbor's yard. I don't know. Thanks for watching. One more project off the list.